Welcome to the Law Office of Brian Fagan podcast, where we empower Texas families through knowledge and compassion. Today, we're unpacking a really crucial explainer focused on domestic violence attorneys in Fort Worth, Texas. We'll be looking at exactly how Texas law handles family violence allegations, protective orders, and ultimately how to protect your rights and your family.
Let's kick things off with a pretty staggering number. Over 200,000. That's how many family violence calls Texas law enforcement responded to in 2022 alone. Just think about that. It really shows how incredibly common and serious this issue is across the state. So what legal protections are available if you're experiencing domestic violence, or on the flip side, if you've been accused of family violence in Texas? Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out today. Here's our roadmap for making sense of this really complex mix of civil and criminal law. We'll start with how Texas defines family violence, then move on to securing a protective order, the impacts on custody and divorce, the criminal law overlay, and finally, strategic legal representation. All right, diving right into Section 1, Texas family violence defined. What actually counts as family violence under the law? It's actually a lot broader than people might think. Under Texas Family Code Section 71.004, it isn't just physical abuse. Sure, it covers an act intended to cause physical harm or bodily injury, but, and this is a big but, it also includes any threat that reasonably places a family or household member in fear of imminent harm. And yeah, it explicitly includes dating violence too. So we're really talking about a wide umbrella here: physical abuse, emotional intimidation, and threats of violence. Now, to truly get this, we also need to look at what the law actually leaves out. Defensive measures, like protecting yourself, those are explicitly excluded. Also, corporal punishment that reflects reasonable parental discretion doesn't fit the definition either. The absolute key takeaway here is that every single allegation is uniquely evaluated. It all comes down to the specific facts and evidence of that particular situation. Moving on to Section 2, securing a protective order. If violence or threats are happening, what legal steps can you take to actually stay safe? Okay, there's a very clear step-by-step process here if you're in a crisis. Step 1, and I literally can't stress this enough, call 911. Immediate physical safety has to be your absolute top priority. Step 2 is starting to gather documentation. Lawyers call this the paper trail. We're talking police reports, medical records, photos, that sort of thing. And then step 3, consult an attorney so you can formally file for a protective order. Actually, a seasoned Texas family law attorney put it perfectly. They said, "The legal ER is 911, not me. They can call me next." I love that. It really hits the nail on the head. An attorney is absolutely your second call for legal protection, but emergency responders literally have to be your very first call. Safety first, always. So once you actually file one, a protective order acts as a super powerful legal shield. It can completely bar someone from contacting you, restrict them from your home or workplace, and even limit or totally prohibit them from having firearms. And this is interesting, it can even set up temporary child custody arrangements. Plus, in Texas, any adult can file one on behalf of an abused child, just to add that crucial extra layer of protection. Which leads us right into Section 3. Custody and divorce impacts. How did these findings actually change the game in family court? Well, family courts look at child safety as the #1 priority, period. A documented history of family violence actually wipes out the standard presumption of joint managing conservatorship. That basically means the court no longer just assumes that shared custody is best for the child. Because they prioritize safety, it often leads to restricted or supervised visitation for an abusive parent. And it doesn't just stop at custody. It directly influences fault-based divorces, and it can even tilt property division, sometimes resulting in a much larger chunk of community property going to the abused spouse. All right, Section 4, the criminal law overlay. Because, as you probably guessed, family law doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It heavily overlaps with the criminal justice system. It's really a tale of two systems. On one side, you've got civil consequences happening in family court. So protective orders, divorce terms, loss of custody. On the other side, you have the criminal consequences happening in criminal court. We're talking arrests, Class A misdemeanors, potential jail time, and even felony enhancements. And trust me, what happens in one of those courtrooms is almost definitely going to echo in the other. Speaking of those criminal penalties, they can escalate incredibly fast. A standard assault family violence charge is usually a Class A misdemeanor. But it bumps up to a third-degree felony if it's a second offense against a family member. It also escalates if the assault involves impeding breathing or circulation, meaning strangulation, or if there's what the law calls continuous violence against the family. That basically means 2 or more times within a 12-month period.
Oh, and there's a huge misconception out there about no-drop policies that we really need to clear up. In Texas, if a domestic violence complaint is made, the state can, and frequently does, pursue the case even if the victim decides they want to drop the charges or take back their statement. Prosecutors will just use that paper trail we talked about earlier, the 911 calls, body cam footage, medical records. They use all of that to push forward because ultimately community and victim safety are the top priority.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, Strategic Legal Representation. Because navigating all of this, you're absolutely going to need specialized help. So why exactly does specialized representation matter so much? Well, whether you're in Tarrant County family courts or criminal courts, that overlap is a giant puzzle. Attorneys are totally essential for organizing evidence and getting vital court filings together. For victims, they're crucial for locking in those protective orders to keep families safe. And on the flip side, for the accused, attorneys are equally vital for defending against false allegations, making sure due process is upheld, and protecting parental rights. Because making common mistakes, like waiting too long to get help, slipping up on a protective order, or communicating the wrong way, those things can really negatively affect a case. If you're searching for domestic violence attorneys in Fort Worth, Texas, visit brianfagan.com or schedule a confidential consultation with our experienced family law team. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought, a question really. What legal protections are you taking today to secure your rights, your safety, and your family's future? Getting a handle on your options early is honestly the absolute best way to make informed decisions when you're going through such an emotional and difficult time. Thank you for listening to the Law Office of Brian Fagan podcast, where families find freedom and peace of mind through education and expert legal care. For more information or to schedule your free consultation, visit our website or call 281-810-960 today.